Scarlett and Channing have stars in their eyes.
I didn't know I was going to start acting. I was modeling in New York, and I was saving money to open up a thrift store in Tampa. That was my fallback.
Wow. That is a very specific plan.
Helping out by dining out.
What they're doing is they are going to be donating 100% of their proceeds from the Any Kids item menu to the Greater Chicago Food Depository.
And we help get property tax relief for frustrated Chicagoans.
It's draining us. You know, we got to find money from somewhere. Let's keep the roof over our head.
It's the week's best stories from Fox 32 Chicago. You gotta see it.
I said, well, how come the first installment I got the exemption, and this one, I don't have it. And she told me, we don't have a record of you ever filing the form, which I filed every year.
John Tennyson is a Vietnam vet declared 100% disabled by the VA. He showed me his previous tax bill for his home on Lunt Avenue in Chicago.
I just want to highlight on this paper, you can see the row of zeros under 2022.
Now it's over $6,200, and he's pleading for help. Tennyson isn't the only one.
So my taxes are every 3 months, $3,402.86, and I live in Steger, Illinois.
My taxes are $10,500, and I live in Flossmoor, Illinois.
And our taxes are $10,182, and I live in Orland Park.
My taxes is $11,029.41, and I live in Matson, Illinois.
I Zoomed with 5 homeowners, mostly in the south suburbs.
I was at zero. I had the senior exemption for the last 3 billings or however they do it. Okay, this is all together. One bombshell dropped on me for the second installment. It's $2,530.
All of them are dealing with increased property taxes in Cook County. 1/3 of the nearly 2 million properties are missing exemptions on their tax bills. Others feel their properties were reassessed incorrectly. Thousands have come to assessor offices across Cook County, hoping to get issues resolved. So far, for tax year 2023, 12,240 certificate of errors have been issued. At least 4,000 of those were for land values being incorrect. Corrections can be made in person on the spot. I sat down with Fritz Kagi, the Cook County assessor, to get some answers.
The Cook County Board of Review, they reduced commercial properties by $1 billion, leading to commercial bills coming down dramatically for folks like Walmart and Home Depot, while their residential neighbors' bills are going up in a huge way. Cuts like that added 4 percentage points of the tax burden on the homeowners, leaving them with more burden than they had before. That's why their bills, largely in the south suburbs, went up more than the levies that are levied on them by school districts and homeowners, and I'm super concerned about that.
Kagi gave real examples of big tax reductions for big business.
In Cicero, there's a Walmart that had its tax bill fall by $250,000. That's basically the size of several hundreds of people's tax increases in Cicero. In Calumet City, a Home Depot had its bill fall by $370,000. Again, that's the size of the increases felt by hundreds of homeowners in Calumet City.
George Cardenas with Cook County Board of Review says there are some cases where businesses may receive a reduced bill based on conditions that they present to the board, but the same conditions are considered for homeowners.
In the Southland, which is the south part of the county that felt the most pain this time around, there were thousands of errors on land values that the assessor is not talking about. And that had also an impact on property values in that area. The Board of Review, has a responsibility to correct assessments.
Over 240,000 appeals were received by the Cook County Board of Review in the last tax cycle. Kagi admitted that his office doesn't always get it right. But for homeowners like this group I spoke with, strapped for cash, they hope they can appeal their property's assessment.
Need to stop targeting the middle class and the poor to try to keep having this country run on our backs. and let the rich and the 1% start paying their fair share of taxes. Because it's draining us. You know, we got to find money from somewhere just to keep the roof over our head. It's wonder why so many people are moving out of Illinois, especially minorities.
We're about 3 weeks away before those tax bills are due. About 1.7 million tax bills were sent out for the second installment, and only about 12% have been paid. Tia Ewing, Fox 32, Chicago.
Head to Chicago's East Lakeview area on the corner of Broadway and Oakdale, and you'll find a neighborhood staple, Caesar's Authentic Mexican Restaurant, home of the killer margaritas.
I think the secret is that you can't really taste the tequila.
But for the month of July, Caesar's will be known for something else.
So this is our full kids menu. Each plate is named after one of our kids.
Buy something off the kids menu and you'll be helping to feed the hungry.
Yeah, Caesars is being a great partner this year. What they are doing is they are going to be donating 100% of their proceeds from the Any Kids item menu to the Greater Chicago Food Depository.
Manyi Lee is with the Greater Chicago Food Depository. The organization strives to end hunger, and this month it's working with 7 Chicago restaurants, including Caesars, to honor National Make a Difference in a Child's Life Month. She says right now the need is great.
Just in the first quarter of this year, they have seen 26% more visitors coming to get food than compared to the same period last year. And so that alone tells you that hunger still persists in the community.
And here's the other restaurants you can visit in July that are also taking part. Adobo Grill, America's in Oak Park, Marina's Bistro, Morella's Tavern, Tata's Tacos, and Vinci. Each place donating a portion of proceeds. For Caesars, the collaboration was an easy choice. This is a family restaurant started by their mom and dad 32 years ago. They worked there growing up, and now their children help out as well. They say their restaurant is an extension of family.
We are products of the Chicago public school system, and growing up on these lunches, you become dependent on them. And when summer hits, it's kind of where are we going to go for breakfast, for lunch?
There's nothing worse than your kids saying to you, Mom, I'm hungry, and you don't know how you're going to feed them. So that's why this really touches home for us.
And their generosity, combined with you purchasing these meals, feeds more people than you can even imagine.
Every dollar that is donated and that is raised helps us to provide 3 meals.
So head to this family destination, and while you're there with your children, you can toast to your contribution to feeding the hungry, maybe even with one of those killer margaritas. Sylvia Perez, Fox 32, Chicago.
We don't have that connection to the sea like other coastal towns do. People think in the Midwest, oh, well, we can't do anything. We're so far away, but that's not true.
At a young age, Arlington Heights native Anthony DiSilvestro wanted to take a bite out of Sharks' bad reputation.
I played a lot of ice hockey growing up, but as time went on, I actually stopped playing hockey and devoted my career to marine biology because of my fascination with sharks.
His research turned into regular underwater photography trips. On his recent venture off the coast of Florida, he swam with silky sharks, bull sharks, and hammerheads.
I've been diving with them since I was 16 years old. I'm 40, I'm almost 41 now, so I've been doing it for quite some time. For me, it's one of the most peaceful experiences that I could ever have in my life.
He wants others to see the beauty that he sees and understand the role sharks play in keeping the fishing industry strong.
There are plenty of places to go that you can see for yourself and really see why they're important to the whole ecosystem.
There's more where that came from. It's our best Chicago stories from the week. You gotta see it.
Want to know Chicago politics? Ask Paris.
Elections, conventions, corruption.
there's a lot to get to.
Paris Schutz, the most trusted name in Chicago politics.
Making sense of the issues that impact all of our lives.
He's on Fox Chicago.
I'm Paris Schutz, and I get to cover politics in the world's most fascinating political city.
Find Paris on air on Fox32Chicago.com and streaming on Fox Local.
Let's get started.
It's the week's best stories from Fox 32 Chicago. You gotta see it.
Heavy rain and downpours means summertime is a busy time for Chicago area roofing companies.
There's been a lot of hail, wind, and even some tornadoes around the area. So yeah, it's been a very busy time for all of us.
Kevin Filato heads the residential roofing committee for the Chicago Roofing Contractors Association.
Wind does more damage because it can actually remove the shingles from your roof, which would then leave it susceptible for water to get in. Hail will affect the shingle itself and will cause dimples and blow off the granules from it. Nothing that would necessarily cause a leak.
So how do you know when your roof has actually been damaged following a storm? Some companies are on your doorstep quicker than the rain can fall to tell you your roof needs repairs.
Most do wait for the calls to come in, but there are some that do work throughout the neighborhood and door-to-door selling.
And it was just like Halloween. My doorbell just kept ringing, and the mailbox was filled with pamphlets.
That's what happened to Steve Burness after a big storm rolled through the Chicago suburbs near his home. Burness is also the president of the Chicago Better Business Bureau.
But unfortunately, with storms, people just tend to go with whoever knocks at their door because everybody else is booked up.
Like good doctors, Burness says a lot of good roofers are usually booked up for the summer with regular repairs, which is why you may be out of luck when Mother Nature comes calling. He also says roofing scams consistently rank in the top 13 on the BBB's list of the most common scams.
We had recently, I think it was over $20,000. They're still trying to get back.
Unfortunately, some Chicago area consumers have lost more than that. According to Cook County Circuit Court records, 58-year-old Charles Balavia requested a Northbrook man pay him more than $23,000 before starting repair work on his roof last summer. The documents also state Balavia said he needed the money up front so that he could buy building materials to complete the job, and that Balavia didn't return to the man's home once he got the money. After Northbrook police arrested him late last year, prosecutors charged Balavia with theft and home repair fraud. His case is ongoing. So what can you do if you can't schedule the roofing company you want?
One thing is to contact your insurance company first and foremost. I think a lot of consumers don't realize that your insurance company has covered damages on your roofing, and they may help you provide some, suggested contracts. They can't force you to go with somebody, but they can provide suggested contractors.
If you can't get through to one of them, Burness says watch out for these red flags when contacting a company on your own. Not offering a written contract, not having a business card with a phone number, and not being able to find a company online. If you do find them, a recent survey of Chicago area roofers by Consumers Checkbook says don't get caught up on the posted reviews or the pricing.
I think a lot of people would say, oh, well, I don't want to go with a low price company because it's going to do bad work, but that's not true. We found that the companies that quoted high prices for our 3 homes were just as likely to have high ratings from their consumers as low ratings, that there is no price-quality relationship.
You also want to ask who will be doing the actual work on your roof.
A lot of roofers now use a sub-crew for their labor. So a lot of roofers actually don't have a license themselves, but then their crew that actually installs it does.
But before you even pick up the phone to call a roofing company, the BBB says check out the company, and the Chicago Roofing Contractors Association says look out your window.
You see trees and debris flying throughout the yard, there's chances that might hit the roof and could cause damage. You might see granules from the shingles release down and come out on the ground, or even pieces of the shingles itself.
Guys, good to see you both again. I genuinely love the movie, so thank you for taking the time. I appreciate you.
What's up, man?
Hello.
Good to see you.
Good to see you guys. So I'm going to start out with this. I love that Kelly can honestly sell anything from cars to watches or the moon in this case. I'm sort of curious, Scarlett, how do you think Kelly Jones would have sold this movie? And Channing, is there a past movie of yours you would love to see how Kelly Jones would sell it?
I think she'd probably be like, whatever you do, do not go see this film.
Yeah. She would definitely be like,
don't do it. Don't do it.
Damn it, that's making me want to see it again just because you're telling me not to.
Well, she nailed it then. Well, I guess I would love to see how Kelly would have sold Magic Mike. That would have been fun.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm available, by the way. Could totally work on that campaign.
I wish we were making more of them, but we're not.
Now you get a whole new meaning to Fly Me to the Moon. It's a whole new different sequel that we could do. Hey, so I think this movie proves that it's not always a bad idea to have a backup plan. I know you guys have been in this business for a very long time, but was there ever a moment where you had any kind of a professional backup plan where you thought, okay, if this doesn't work out, this is what I'm going to do?
Like terrifyingly, no.
You're working without a net.
I was like, definitely, because I was a kid actor. So like really, I have no skills at all outside of like the one very specific skill that I have. Cannot do anything. Didn't go to college. Don't have any like menial skill. Like I can't do anything. I'm really not good at any other thing.
Before I was actually an actor, I didn't know I was going to start acting. I was modeling in New York, and I was saving money to open up a thrift store in Tampa. That was my fallback.
That is a very specific plan. Very specific.
That was a very, very specific plan.
No, it was the plan. I was like,
what was it going to be called?
I don't even know. I didn't get that far. I was just saving money. I was like,
what would you call it? Loose Threads.
Yes, Loose Threads.
Loose Threads.
Yes, that's it.
I like that.
Chan me down.
I like that.
Oh my God. That's so funny.
No, I would never call it that.
When I give away, like if I ever give out like a bunch of clothes, like I clean out my closet, my friends call it Joe Hand-Me-Downs.
Joe Hand-Me-Downs.
So
yeah,
good. We could actually do like a partnership.
Yeah, great.
It'll just be our clothes.
Yes. Yeah.
I would go to that store just for the name. That's gold. There was a poll conducted a few years ago that said that 6% of Americans still believe that we faked the moon landing, which I think just kind of proves that people will believe oftentimes whatever it is that they want to believe. I'm sort of curious, in the most fun, joking way possible. You guys have been in this business for a while. What is the stupidest, silliest, most ridiculous rumor you've ever heard about yourself?
I think it was like on IMDb that I raised like my brothers and sisters or something. I raised them by myself or something. It was great. And I had like,
love that.
Yeah. And I was like, what? I was like, actually my sister raised me more than likely. That I had like 4 or 5 brothers and sisters or something that I all raised them myself.
That is very strange.
Really weird. I was like, this is an alternate reality.
That's a very specific rumor for someone to just go, all right, I'm going in.
And you can easily like find that I have one sister and that's it. Like she's older and I would not have raised her.
I think people have asked me they're like, you're related to David Johansen, aren't you? And I was like, no, not related to David Johansen. Johansen is like the most common name in Sweden and also in Denmark. So it's like very, and easily, you can see that I'm not related to David Johansen,
but we can confirm the rumor that both of you guys are working on a joint thrift store together.
Right.
That we can put on your Wikipedia page and it's done and it won't be edited out. Excellent.
Right. And it's only our clothes that
Scarlett Joe Hand-Me-Down.
Joe Hand-Me-Down.
It's only our old clothes. You get like definitely like different, it could be whatever, socks.
Probably stains from, me eating barbecue or something on it. Yeah.
Some cruise shirts you didn't want.
Tons of cruise shirts.
Lots of those ill-fitting cruise shirts.
You think this started as a joke, but this is starting to sound better and better every single time we bring it up. Guys, I could talk with you all day. I know you have a super busy day, so thank you for always fitting me your schedule, and thank you for always being so kind. I appreciate
it. Good to see you, man.
All right, good to see you guys. Take care.
There's more where that came from. It's our best Chicago stories from the week. You gotta see it.
It's time to party with other pups at Paw Chicago's Beach Party. Catch some raves with fellow pet lovers while helping save the lives of homeless dogs and cats. Join us for dinner, drinks, and dancing. The party's at Offshore on Navy Pier, July 25th. Visit pawchicago.org/beach party to learn more.
It's the week's best stories from Fox 32 Chicago. You gotta see it.
Buying Delta 8 weed is kind of like buying drugs off the street. It's impossible for the consumer to know exactly what's in it. Like marijuana, Delta 8 gets you high. Unlike marijuana, it exists thanks to a loophole in federal law and is sold without any kind of testing or regulation. One Illinois resident says she wishes she knew that when she bought it. Delta 8 not only altered her conscience, it changed her life.
Every parent's worst nightmare. Something you can't unsee. Would not wishing on my worst enemy.
Lori is a resident in rural LaSalle County and recounts the day 4 months ago when her daughter had a full-on psychiatric meltdown after ingesting Delta-8 weed that she purchased at a gas station. Her daughter was lost in a hallucinogenic fog for weeks.
Wasn't my daughter. It was like someone was standing there with a light switch, flipping it on and off. One minute she was angry, one minute she was sad, the next minute she was a little girl crying and singing little girl songs. She had no control over her own body.
You were in this hallucinatory state literally for 2.5 or 3 weeks.
Yeah. I felt like I was in a movie, and every day when I woke up, I had the people that I was hallucinating were like saying season 1, episode 2, season 2, episode 3.
Lori and her daughter asked us to conceal their identities. Her daughter says she had used medical marijuana to cope with PTSD. She mistakenly thought Delta-8 was the same. A doctor diagnosed her with drug-induced psychosis. The only drug found in her system at the time was Delta-8.
It wasn't laced with anything. We just think that it was an extremely high dose that triggered this hallucinogenic effect.
Lori's daughter spent nearly a month in the hospital before being transferred to an outpatient facility. She says she's recovering now thanks to a variety of psychiatric medication and especially thanks to the help of a service dog. Dr. Stephen Axe is a toxicology specialist at the Cook County Health and Hospital System. He says the particular danger with Delta-8 is that what you see on the packaging isn't necessarily what you get.
We don't know the dose, the quantity, and you'll have a range of effects, and it's not predictable because we don't know what the dose is.
There have been nearly 9,000 cases of Delta-8 poisoning reported to National Poison Control Centers in the last 3 years. 41% of those were children below the age of 18.
There needs to be regulation of these products. Period. End of sentence.
The Illinois General Assembly considered but ultimately failed to pass a ban on hemp-derived weed products like Delta-8, thanks to furious lobbying from hemp retailers. But Pritzker says lawmakers should make it a priority in the coming months.
I think that you're going to see movement on it in the veto session in November or perhaps in January.
The hemp industry says it would welcome the same regulation as legal cannabis shops, but the legal weed industry wants Delta-8 run out of town entirely.
There's 800 pages of regulations that regulate the licensed cannabis industry here in Illinois, and there's none that regulate these stores that are selling products that are intoxicating from the same plant.
Charles Wu owns a legal Delta-8 cafe in Bucktown and says the stalemate has pushed businesses like his to self-police to root out bad actors like gas stations and head shops.
We are currently in the process of developing standards and even the labeling and the packaging, so there might be the equivalent of, you might say, a gold star or a checkbox of, hey, this not just a good hemp product, but it's been tested, it's been third-party verified by a reputable source. There's an enforcement, an industry internal enforcement body that is verifying these things. These products are going to be tracked and traced. All the things that are important to enable responsible use.
Lori and her daughters say they hope their story can spur lawmakers into action, whether it's tough regulation or an all-out ban.
We either regulate this stuff or we get it completely taken out of stores because it is something that can be very detrimental to people.
I feel that the people that are actually selling it don't realize what they're selling and what it does to people's lives. It had turned our whole lives upside down.
Downstate Illinois Congresswoman Mary Miller has introduced an amendment in the 2024 federal farm bill that would ban hemp-derived weed products, but that has yet to be considered in the House or Senate. Paris Schutz, Fox 32, Chicago.
It's unlikely to not contact nobody. I just want to bring my daddy back home.
That tearful plea is from D'Angelo as the search intensifies for 53-year-old Reverend Warren Beard. He's been missing since July 2nd.
My husband goes to work, he comes home, he goes to work out, and he goes to church for the most part. That's what he does. And for him to not come home, he's never done that. In all the years We've been married 16 years.
Wanda Beard is Warren's wife. The family lives in Chicago, but she says her husband attended college in Joliet and would occasionally come back to visit friends. He was last seen in the 400 block of Broadway at around 9 in the evening.
There were other people there. He was there with a friend of his. But other than that, we don't know exactly how many people were in the house. We know that it was more. It wasn't just him. There were other people in the house hanging out.
But Beard's black Honda CR-V Sport, similar to this one, was spotted an hour after he was seen at a major intersection in Joliet.
We were told by the Chicago police that's where the plate reader read the car at Jefferson and Larkin at 10:24 on Tuesday night.
The family says they've searched hospitals and the Joliet area. The Midwest Regional Director of Facilities for Preservation of Affordable Housing Communities hasn't been to work. His credit cards haven't been used, and he hasn't been to one of the places he loves, his place of worship.
Great is the Lord. He's been great to me.
Beard serves as the New Israelite Missionary Baptist Church assistant pastor.
We just want to find them. We want to bring them home. Any information that anyone may have, even if it's an anonymous tip, we just need some direction on where to go, because right now we don't have anything.
Thanks for watching the Best of Fox 32 Chicago this week. Original Chicago stories that make you say, you gotta see it.
The Major League Baseball All-Star Game is deep in the heart of Texas, and Fox 32 Chicago is there.
Local MLB pregame Tuesday at 5:30 on Fox 32.
Chicago Sports Insiders.
I am so excited. This is gold right now. It's gold.
Streaming now on your smart TV at Fox 32 on Fox Local, your home of the Bears team.
Every Bears game will be must-see TV.
Following every step of a historic season.
Hardcore on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Download Fox Local and get in the game now.
Touchdown, Bears!
Search Fox Local on these streaming platforms and start watching today.